Hello everyone and welcome to the ultimate preview of the 2022 Melbourne Cup, going through each runner, discussing their chances, and stay tuned because if you want to find the winner of the Melbourne Cup, then keep watching the video because you will, because I'm going to talk you through each runner and what you need to know. Now let's check the Melbourne Cup market. Taking a look at it, the top weight gold trip for Zahra is at $13, runner-up in the Caulfield Cup. Coming off good Caulfield Cup runs are Duais and Night Sorter, both at $21. Montefilia, eye-catching late in the Caulfield Cup at $11. The first of the internationals without a fight for William Buick is at $11. Deauville Legend, the favourite for Kerrin McEvoy, is at $3.80. We've got Bowman Declare, the 2019 winner, at $17. Hugh at $21 for Craig Williams. Another international, Emissary, the Geelong Cup winners at $21. Lunar Flares at $17. Smoke and Romans, the Caulfield Cup favourites at $21. Interpretation $34. And Realm of Flowers at $15 right down the bottom for Damien Thornton. Now let's get on to horse number one. It's Gold Trip for Zahra with the 57.5 kilos. Ciaron, Maher and David Eustace prepare this galloper 1 from 15 in its overall record. Not great, but we're going to take a look at its last start, Cox Plate. Ninth effort, only beaten about 3 lengths by Annabel. This was a very good run, should have finished closer. It got held up for some part of the straight, wasn't able to go to the line under its full ability. Step up to 3,200 metres doesn't look to be any issue, even though he's never seen it. I don't reckon it'll be an issue. From gate 14 he should get to midfield or so. His Caulfield Cup run was superb before his Cox Plate run, with the same weight compared to the same weight of other horses in the race. So Gold Trip is a very good chance, and I think out of the Australians, he's probably the one to beat. Horse number 2 is Duais, slowly creeping back to form after what was a sluggish couple of first runs in this preparation, but her run in the Caulfield Cup was absolutely outstanding, coming from 16th. It wasn't the best in the race, but she flashed home late enough to suggest that she will be a live Melbourne Cup contender. $21 seems the right price, if anything, a touch unders. From gate 10, we'll be getting around midfield or so. It'll be flashing down the outside late. The wet track shouldn't be an issue. I couldn't have it on top, but it's a pretty good chance. Horse number 3 is Night Sorter. The 8-year-old bay gelding comes for a run in the Melbourne Cup. Draws gate 24 of 24 for Timmy Clark in the saddle. It'll go to the lead, and Gay, Waterhouse and Adrian Bott know how to train a front runner. It'll just keep running all day. This was his run in the Caulfield Cup. It led at a pretty moderate tempo to solid tempo throughout, and ran better than what I thought it would. Only lost by just under a length to Durston, who had a much lighter weight than it. Carries the 55.5 kilos again in the Melbourne Cup. It'll go forward, most likely to the lead or outside the lead again. It'll be right there ready to strike. The heavy track should be right in its favour. Can't find many knocks with this horse, apart from that it's an 8-year-old and might be getting to the end. There might be some more horses with upside than it. But if we're judging off its Caulfield Cup run, it's a pretty good chance. Number 4 is Montefilia. She comes into this race off an outstanding Caulfield Cup run when she produced some outstanding late splits to run 4th. And watch this Caulfield Cup run. We're about to take a look at it. She just copped some interference early in the straight, which knocks her off her momentum, but she absolutely charged home late to grab 4th. This horse draws gate 11 for Jason Collett. It'll be getting sort of midfield or so. The heavy track won't bother her. She's 2 from 6 on heavy ground. Her runs before this have been a 4th to Animo and a 3rd to Cascadian, so she brings some good form into this race. And if we judge off its Caulfield Cup run, it's going to run a heck of a race to step up to 3,200 metres, even though she's hardly ever seen it before. I don't think is a query, and I reckon she will be the testing material. Horse number 5 is Numerian for Tommy Berry with the 55.5 kilos for Annabel Neasham. Draws gate 7, will be right there on speed. It'll be giving itself every chance. Only finished 0.2 lengths off Night Sorter in the Caulfield Cup. The 3,200 metres is my query. It might find this guy out, so I don't want to be with him. Horse number 6 is the first of the internationals, and it's without a fight. William Buick takes the ride with the 55.5 kilos for Simon and Ed Crisford, training at Newmarket. Jumping from gate 18, no horse has ever won from gate 18. Without a fight, will be hoping to make himself the first. This was his win in the Grand Cup at York. This was in June of this year, defeating a horse called John Leaper, who ran second to it in its subsequent start off of this run. From gate 18, look, this horse will be getting somewhere near the speed, midfield at worst. He'll be pushing up. He gets the earmuffs pre-race only for the first time to calm his nerves a bit with the big crowd. He hasn't been proven Group 1 quality, but he's just a winner, and that's what you want to see. And with a weak Melbourne Cup field this year, it might not be so bad. I couldn't have him as my on-top selection, but I reckon he is definitely a really good chance. Number 7 is another international, and it's Camorra, now trained by Ben and JD Hayes. Ben Melham to take the ride from gate 17. Will be pushing up to beyond speed somewhere. We're going to take a look at its win in the Curragh Cup. This was when, this was also in June of this year. It was paying $11 on this occasion. It won by a length and did it well with the 62 kilos. This horse did very well in this race and was able to fend the challenges off late over the 2,800 metres. So I don't think the 3,200 will be any query. However, it's 0 from 4 on heavy ground, and it didn't really sprint in the Irish St. Leger in its subsequent start to this. So I probably couldn't have Camorra on top. I think it might be a pretty good exotic chance though. Number 8 is the Melbourne Cup favourite. It's Deauville Legend, trained by James Ferguson out at Newmarket. Kerrin McEvoy to take the ride with the 55 kilos. Draws gate 9, will be getting around the midfield or so. We're going to take a look at its win in the Voltages Stakes at Group 2 level at York. Defeated 2 horses by the name of Secret State, who's pretty good, and none other than El Bodegon, who ran a really good third in the Cox Plate last week behind Annabel. Now this horse did this very well. There's a couple of queries on it. It's never seen a soft track or a heavy track, and we're going to get a heavy track, so that's a query, and it's never been past 2,600 metres. He gives every indication that he'll get it, but you never really know until you step out at that distance. He has a tendency to lay in and lay out, which is not what you want to do in a Melbourne Cup. He has a tendency to get sweaty in the mounting yard when there's 10,000 people there. This time there'll be 100,000 people there. All these signs point to him not winning, but he brings the right form and he's a really good chance. Number 9 is Stockman for Sam Clipperton for the 54 kilos. Gate 2 will be buried back on the inside for Joseph Pride. He's run at the 3,200 metres once in his career and hasn't been anywhere near it. The heavy track will be right in his favour, but just doesn't bring the right form. Was not bad in the Metrop and was okay in the Rosehill Cup today, so not the right form. I don't reckon he'll win. Number 10 is the 2019 Melbourne Cup winner, and it's Vow and Declare for Blake Shinn. Danny O'Brien trains. It draws gate 4. It's won at the Melbourne Cup before, so it's proven over the 3,200 metres. We're going to take a look at its Caulfield Cup run, where it ran a solid 6th. It wasn't the most eye-catching horse in the field, but it was definitely a solid run. This horse might have just bounced back to form. I don't reckon he's going as well as he did in 2019, but he's not far off it in 2022, and in a Melbourne Cup field where there doesn't look to be one standout, he can figure in the finish for Blake Shinn. He can't be dismissed. He'll be on speed from gate 4, and he'll be giving a sight up front. Carried 51, I think, to victory in 2019. Now has to carry 54 kilos. Vow and Declare, his picture's up there, signed by Craig Williams, so I can't fault him, but he's not my on-top selection. Horse number 11 is Young Verta for Danny O'Brien and Damian Lane. Draws a very sticky gate in gate 21. He's won once from 14 in his career, and that was his maiden at Geelong. Last start ran okay in the Cox Plate. I can't see him winning, so I'm happy to cross him off. The next of the internationals, number 12, is Hugh. Gone to Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott, a lightly raced entire for Craig Williams with the 53.5 kilos. Jaws gate 15 will be pushing up from that gate to be on pace. We're going to take a look at his Gordon Stakes third. Also highlighted here is none other than Deauville Legend. Hugh finished behind Deauville Legend on this occasion, but ran okay. This is a lightly raced horse, 9 starts for 2 wins and 6 placings. He's proven on heavy ground. He's won over the 2,800 metres before. He'll go very close for Craig Williams, I reckon. He'll be right there on speed, and he'll be there for a long way. Should run 3,200. Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott know how to train a stayer, as I've already said. It'll be running really well. Number 13 is Serpentine. Ran an absolute belter of a race in today's Archer Stakes. Behind Surefire, it led and only just narrowly got defeated, but was coming back on the line, giving him every indication that he wants 3,200 metres. Lloyd Williams knows how to get a stayer ready, especially for the Melbourne Cup. However, I don't like horses on the 3-day backup. He draws gate 23. He's going to have to work to get to the lead. So, Serpentine, not for me. Horse 14 is the Ciaron Sweet Jr. for Philip Stokes and Daniel Moore with the 53 kilos from gate 13. I don't know where he gets to. He's a very versatile horse, this bloke. Ran a disappointing 10th in the Bart Cummings last start, and I don't think he can turn the tables on a horse like Lunar Flare, so not for me. Number 15 is Grand Promenade, well fancied in the Melbourne Cup last year. Comes into this year with probably weaker form, finished 12 lengths off the winner in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, Francesco Guardi, last start. Dave Eustace hinting on radio that he probably won't appreciate the heavy ground either, but he can run 3,200 metres. He's drawn gate 1, he's going to get buried, so not for me. Horse 16 is Arapaho. Bjorn Baker trains this absolute fine gelding for Rachel King. 52.5 kilos to be carried from gate 19. He'll be getting way back in the field. Was okay in the St. Ledger last start. Was all right in the Metrop the start prior. I think he'll get too far out of his ground, but he does like heavy tracks. Horse 17 is Emissary. The Geelong Cup winner comes into this race defeating Surefire, who won today at Flemington. We're going to take a look at his Geelong Cup run, where he soared down the outside to score. Now, this win was very good. However, the Geelong Cup in the past couple of years hasn't stood up as a very good form reference for the Melbourne Cup, so I'm not too sure. But before this, he's won the Heatherly Stakes. He's run well in the Naturalism. He's run okay in the Herbert Power with his weight. Comes into this race with the 51.5 kilos for Paddy Maloney. He hasn't seen the 3,200 before, which is a bit of a query. He'll get back and buried from gate number 3 as well. So I think Emissary's a tad unders, and I want to take him on. Horse 18 is Lunar Flare. Graham Begg prepares this mare, Mickey D to ride. It's regular rider with the 51.5 kilos from gate 12. It's an absolute perfect gate. Will be midfield or so. We're going to take a look at its last start effort in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup behind Francesco Guardi. Considering the position it was in, it ran very well. Was taking ground off Francesco Guardi late in the race. I think the step up to 3,200 metres suits this horse. She'll be charging home late. Won the Bart Cummings to start prior. Was good in the Naturalism and the Heatherly before that. So I reckon Lunar Flare's a pretty good chance. And out of the Australians, I don't think she's the best, but I reckon she's right up there, like top 3, top 2 type material for the Australians. So she'll be running well. Number 19 is the Caulfield Cup favourite, Smokin' Romans. Jamie Carr takes the ride for Ciaron Maher and David Eustace. Draws gate 16. We'll have to go forward from that draw, you'd imagine, and we'll be on pace somewhere. We're going to take a look at its Caulfield Cup run. Didn't get to build its momentum when it wanted to. That proved costly and did okay work through the line late. I think Smokin' Romans up to 3,200 metres is still a bit of an unknown. He won the Turnbull, he won the Naturalism, he's won a lot of lead-up races. He's just a winner, this bloke. He's won over the 2,500 metres at best. 3,200 is a little bit of a query, but the heavy track won't bother him at all. Jamie Carr will be giving him every chance. I don't think he's the best winning chance, but I reckon he's a pretty good chance. Number 20 is Charlie Rose, returning for another Melbourne Cup. Last year got galloped on, and that proved costly. Dean Yendall takes the ride with the light weight of 51.5 kilos from gate 22. Don't know what they'll do. They'll have to probably push forward, work Serpentine and Knight's Order for the lead. When it walked past me on Caulfield Cup Day, it still had a bit of a winter coat, so if it's come on at all from the Caulfield Cup, it'll be running a better race than it did in the Caulfield Cup. So Charlie Rose, I don't think can win, but it can run in the first half. Horse 21 is Point Nepean. Wayne Lorden takes the ride this time for the 51 kilos. Won its way into the race by winning the Andrew Ramsden. Its runs this campaign have been just plain. Its run in the Herbert Power was plain. Draws a wide gate, so not for me. Number 22 is the Bendigo Cup winner, High Emotion. Now this horse is trained by Ciaron Maher and David Eustace. Teo Nugent to take the ride. From gate 8, it's actually a pretty good gate. We'll be getting somewhere around midfield. It's an absolute swimmer. It'll relish the heavy track. The Bendigo Cup, however, I don't reckon is the strongest form reference, and it's never seen 3,200 metres. Horse 23's Interpretation, also prepared by the Ciaron, Maher and David Eustace operation. Craig Newer to take the ride with the 50 kilos. From gate 6 will be midfield somewhere. He's had a few veterinary issues which I'm a bit concerned about, and his Geelong Cup run wasn't up to par with Emissary, so not for me. And the last horse, horse 24, is Realm of Flowers in the market. It's $15. Last start run in the Metropolitan behind No Compromise up at Randwick. We're going to take a look at that replay. Draws gate 5, and on Tuesday it'll be closer than expected, I reckon, midfield or worse. Damien Thornton takes the ride with the 50 kilos. I didn't even know Damien Thornton could get down to that weight. But it ran on well late in the Metrop. Another 10, or not even 10, maybe 5 strides, and it would have nabbed No Compromise and La Donde V. He'll probably be getting back in the field. Sorry, she'll probably be getting back in the field. But she's an absolute swimmer. I haven't got her in my top 4, but I reckon she can run a heck of a race. Now on to my top 4 selections, and as we take a look at them, Deauville Legend is my on-top selection. I'm not very confident, but I reckon Kerrin McEvoy will get in a good spot and just needs to bring some sort of best form, and he'll be winning this race. Gold Trip, I reckon, is next best. Has to carry the big weight, but I like the Ciaron, Maher and David Eustace team in the Melbourne Cup, and I reckon Gold Trip's probably their strongest hand in this race. Will be running a heck of a race. I've got Without a Fight in there for 3rd. Also brings good form from internationals. And Montefilia, I reckon its Caulfield Cup run was enough to suggest it'll be a good Melbourne Cup chance. Thank you so much for watching my Melbourne Cup runner-by-runner preview for 2022. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video. Stay tuned for more videos. Stakes Day previews coming out. The 3 Group 1s either Thursday or Friday. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you then.